Just hit record. So recording is very important because there are folks that want to collaborate with those that are on this call. I'm pretty sure. I don't know anybody by names, but I'm sure they'll want to figure out and learn what you're doing with your research. So hopefully we can get as many people collaborated as possible. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to share my screen real fast and do a couple housekeeping things. All right, so welcome. This is the second SOTA webinar. SOTA is short observation and data analysis. This is December 4th, 2017. And we are calling this live from Croatia because we have some great students from some great Croatian schools that are going to be presenting today on their research. And as you know, what we do with the SOTA webinars is we have some presentations and then we have some informal discussions about how you can, as participants, work with, we discuss how you might be able to work or collaborate with some of the presenters today based upon the measurements that you're taking in your environment. So a couple things here. What we do need is, because these are very dynamic, the SOTA webinars, we need some presenters for January, February, March, and April. May is covered of next year, but we're looking for some presenters for January, February, March, and April. That doesn't mean you have to present at all four. You can just present at one of the, or have your students present at one of the monthly SOTA webinars. So put your name in the chat box if you'd like to do it, or you can shoot me an email and I'll put that in the chat box a little later on so you can contact me directly. But we definitely want some more participants to present. And you'll see, you saw, on the first webinar, you saw Jeff Bauman, who is with us today. He did an amazing job on discussing how his students have used the guiding investigative questions to help take measurements in his classroom all around his school and in that environment. So what you can do is there's a bit.ly address down here on the bottom, and I'll also put that in the chat box as well. But you can see the awesome presentation that Jeff gave and the discussion that we had afterwards on that. So you can check that out. So it's going to be pretty cool stuff. You'll be able to see this just by going to this bit.ly URL. So check that out. So quickly, as you know, the SOTA webinars and how they work. We have featured presenters. They can be teachers, students, or both. And what you do is you look at the phase 3 guiding investigative questions. And then the presentation is using those questions to show how these questions were explored during your dates of data collection. And then ideas for potential collaboration, that falls into the formal and the informal discussion afterwards. So what do I do to participate in a SOTA event? You identify the guiding investigative questions, you do the protocol measurements, and I know most of you out there are doing these protocol measurements already. So all you have to do is find out what guiding investigative questions the measurements that you're taking fall under. And then you can come back and present, to the group at one of the webinars and be enshrined forever in the ENSO student research campaign. And then if you'd like, we also have an optional thing. You can submit a blog to the Globe website highlighting your student research. So after each of the SOTA webinars, what's going to happen is that the recording will go up on the Globe website for everybody to take a look at. So briefly, here are the guiding investigative questions again. The first one is about water quality. What is the quality of the water in our environment? And here are a list of just suggested protocols from Globe. Second guiding investigative question is water's impact. What impact does water both above and below ground have on our environment? Here are some of the protocols suggested to use. And then water and life. How does water in our environment impact living organisms? And here are some of the suggested protocols as well. So there's lots of protocols. You know, there's over 50 globe protocols, and you can probably use 30 or more of these protocols that will help you explore these guiding investigative questions. And as I mentioned before, most of you, if not all of you, are already taking protocol measurements. So they'll just fit into these questions. So we put these guiding questions so we can help you explore in your environment, you know, a type of question that might need to be answered, you know, in order to understand the data that you're taking. All right. So without further ado, we're going to introduce some of the speakers, and forgive me if I don't get all the pronunciations correct, but I'm going to try. So we have students from 2 Croatian schools. One is Maria Balazinic, and she is a teacher at the Osnovna Škola Varaždin, and her student presenter is Dora Vitez. And at the Medicinska Škola Varaždin, we have Maria Krajnik and her students Lana Bogovic and Jonathan Benes are going to be talking. And what these students have done is, you know, these students are from 2 different schools, but they have been conducting research on the Plitvica River in Croatia, a very important river to Croatia's environment. So Marina's students, which Dora is going to talk about, focused on the plant life of the Plitvica River, and Maria's students focused on the physiochemical properties of the Plitvica River. So when we have these 2 combined, we have a really, really, really robust data set of data, you know, for this river, and it's exciting stuff. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then I will then ask Dora to come on in, and you can share your screen, Dora, whenever you like, and then unmute. Do you see, Dora, where to share your screen?
I don't see you. No, I can't. I want to share screen. Here.
We'll give her a second here.
We have a problem. Just a sec.
Okay. I'm happy if we go to the other presenters.
Yeah, please.
Okay, sure. So Lana and Jonathan, can you go ahead and share your screen? And
Hello everyone, my name is Marija Krajnik. I'm block teacher in the medical school Varaždin in Croatia. My students and me, we have been researching the physical and chemical properties of the river Plitvica. And now the students Lana Bogovic and Jonathan Claudio Benes will be presenting our work.
make sure you share your screen, please. Oh, I got it. I see it. Got it? Okay.
Can you see your screen?
Wow.
Daj ga pitaj, da govori nekaj.
They see our screen. They hear us.
I see your screen now.
Can you hear us?
Can we start it?
You should be able to press the arrows because I see your screen. I see your arrow on top of your screen.
Can you hear us? Do you hear our voice? Ne, ona se će desiti tako. Can you hear us now?
See what happens if you press your arrow key.
No, but you can. Chat.
Do you want? How about I'll share your presentation on my side.
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you can hear us?
Yeah.
You can hear?
Yeah, okay.
Can you start it?
That's what we've been asking for the past 2 minutes.
Well, I see that you shared your screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear?
But I don't. I can't start it if you shared your screen. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just asking if you can hear us talk.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so we can.
Yep. Go ahead.
Do we have the,
Hello, everyone. My name is Marija Krajnik. I'm a glove teacher in the medical school Varaždin in Croatia. My students and me, we have been researching the physical and chemical properties of the river Plitvica. And now the students Lana Bogovic and Jonathan Beneš will be presenting our work.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lana.
and I'm Jonathan. We will start with our guiding investigative questions. And our first question was, what is the quality of water in our environment? After that, we continued to focus on determining the water quality and identifying the various anthropogenic influences that might be detrimental to it.
This is our measurement site, the river Plitvica. And all our measurements are taken in Jelkovec at a spot by the old mill. And we have been measuring at this site for nearly 3 years now. So we started in February of 2015. Here are some more pictures so you can see that it is quite a nice place. And here we can see the exact location of the river on Google Maps.
So we take measurements of temperature, and we measure it with an alcohol-filled thermometer, and our latest measurement was 5 degrees Celsius. Besides that, we also measure dissolved oxygen with a test kit, and our latest measurement of that was 6.3 milligram per liter.
Here's the graph of the water temperatures we have measured for those 3 years, and the maximum water temperature we have measured has been 19 degrees Celsius, and the minimum has been 4 degrees Celsius. And here is a graph of the dissolved oxygen. And here we can see that the maximum measurement has been 12.2 milligrams per liter, and the minimum measurement has been 6.3 degrees per liter. Here are a few pictures of the process of determining the dissolved oxygen in the water and a picture of our alcohol-filled thermometer.
So besides that, we measure nitrate nitrogen and nitrite nitrogen together, and we measure that with a test kit, and our latest measurement was 8 milligrams per liter. We also measure nitrate nitrogen alone, and our latest measurement of that was 0 milligrams per liter.
Here's the graph of the combined nitrogen, nitrate nitrogen and nitrite nitrogen. And the maximum measurement of that has been 30.1 milligrams per liter, and the minimum has been 2.1 milligrams per liter. And here is the nitrate nitrogen only. Check. So the maximum of that has been 0.05, and the minimum has been 0 milligrams per liter. Here are a few pictures of the process.
So we measure pH, with a pH paper and a pH meter. Our latest measurement was 7.7. We also measured conductivity with a conductivity meter. And our latest measurement of that was 500 microsiemens per centimeter.
Here's a graph of the water body pH, and you can see that the maximum measurement has been 7.9 and the minimum has been 6.5. And here's a graph of the conductivity. And as you can see, we have not been measuring that for the whole 3 years. We have only started measuring conductivity this summer. And the maximum value has been 566 microsiemens per centimeter, and the minimum has been 360 microsiemens per centimeter. And here is a picture of our pH meter and our conductivity meter.
We also measure water transparency with a turbidity tube, and our latest measurement of water transparency was 102.3 centimeters. We measure alkalinity with a test kit, and our latest alkalinity measurement was 5.1 milligrams per liter as calcium carbonate.
Here's a graph of the water transparency measured with a turbidity tube, and you can see that the minimum measurement has been 11 centimeters, and the maximum measurement has been over 130 centimeters, which is the length of our transparency tube. And here's a graph of the alkalinity, and you can see that the maximum measurement has been around 6 milligrams per liter, and the maximum has been around 2. Who's drawing arrows? Guys, seriously. And the minimum has been around 2 milligrams per centimeter.
Yeah, whoever's drawing arrows, please stop. Please act
Yeah,
please, thank you.
it's a bit annoying. And here are a few pictures of us determining water alkalinity and measuring the transparency of the water.
We came to the conclusion that water in the river is sometimes slightly basic, especially after heavy rainfall. We have determined that Plitvica is in the second category of water quality according to Croatian water quality protocols.
And as our most of our parameters are within the range of the first category of water quality, but the high nitrates and nitrites lower the water quality in the river. And we have decided to establish a second or even a third control point further down the line. And here is a picture of our lovely globe group here at the medical school in Croatia.
As you can see, there's a lot of us now, but when we started this, it was just me, Lana, and a few more students, so we're proud to present this picture today.
And that would be the end of our presentation. So if Dora has gotten hang of her technical problems, she can continue.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, it's very interesting to see such low nitrite and nitrate numbers. It just seems like it's very clean. The Plitvica is very clean, and so that holds true for most of Croatia. It seems, based upon Marina's comment. So that's very nice to see. Does anybody have any questions or observations during the presentation? Feel free to unmute and ask any questions you like. If you have any questions, also please put them in the chat box as well, if you'd like to. I know some of you would rather not just talk out loud, but
I think I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm from Holland. I'm doing this for about 10 years now, and I'm doing it with some children from 14, 15 years, my students. And I'm wondering, how many groups are you measuring? Are the groups, how many people?
Well, it started out with just me, but now we are teaching more people how to do it. So currently we have 3 groups measuring.
3 groups. So I see on the picture about 18 students. So it's about 6 people for a group? Is it like that?
No, those are all of our students who participate in the GLOBE program, and not all of them do the water measurements. So it's about only 6 of us measuring the water. So that's about 2 per group.
It also comes down to who lives who lives close to the river, you know, because it's a great distance for some of us that don't live. I live in a building here in the middle of town, so it's not really it's not something that I can do every day. But Lana here lives near the river, and she can do it almost every day without any problems. So it also comes down to that.
Okay. So it's not near the school actually. That's what you're saying. The measurement site.
It's not near the school. It's near the houses of some of our pupils.
Okay.
And those pupils measure. But it's not that some of us do nothing. Everyone does something. All of us take part in measurements, as in measuring the atmosphere, the temperature, the air pressure, and ground temperature, and all of that. So even though we're not all in the water measuring, everyone does something.
Okay, that's nice. Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
And I guess it comes down to what you would consider near the school, because it's about 20 minutes by bike. So it's not really that far, but...
No, that's okay. I understand. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem. Thanks for your question.
Any other questions? All right, we'll have some discussion a little later on, so please stay tuned. Dora, are you able to get everything working?
Probably. I have no idea.
Okay. Yep, we see your screen.
Yeah, I know. Oh, we are a 3rd primary school Varaždin, and we're gonna talk about River Plitvica and plants around it. So first I'm gonna say something about Plitvica. It is located in North Croatia. It is 605 kilometers long and 6 meters wide. Its source is in village Plitvica Voćarska, and it joins the river Drava in Saint Maria. We are measuring Plitvica in 4 different locations: Jalkovec, Kučan, Črnec, and Zagrebačka. We are measuring the pH and the temperature since 2015, and here you can see the data since that year. So I'm going to talk about plants around River Plitvica. First plant is Salix fragilis. The common name is crackwidow. It is highly susceptible to wind, ice, and snow damage. Broken twigs and branches can take root readily, enabling the species to colonize new areas, as broken twigs fall into waterways and can be carried some distance downstream. Second one is silver birch. The silver birch is a hardy tree, a pioneer species. It is planted decoratively in parks and gardens, and it owns its common name to the white peeling bark on the trunk. The next one is European oak. It is important to insects and the other wildlife because numerous insects live on the leaves, buds, and in the acorns. Slavonian oak is a regional symbol of Slavonia and a national symbol of Croatia. European ash contains many substances known for their medical benefits. The leaves, bark, and young twigs contain coumarins that inhibit the growth of bacteria and fungi. The resilience and rapid growth made it an important resource for smallholders and farmers. Then we have American pokeweed. All parts of this plant are toxic and pose risk to human health and health of mammals. Euonymus europaeus. It is a popular ornamental plant in gardens and parks due to its bright pink or purple fruits and attractive autumn coloring, in addition to its resistance to frost and wind. Parts of the plant have been used in medicine. However, the fruit is poisonous, containing alcohol. And the last one is Corylus avellana. Leaves provide food for many animals, and the fruit are possibly even more important for animal food. That's it.
Wilson, se čuješ? Malo gledaj, daj ka audio, moraš se izgledati.
All right, does anybody have any questions? Thank you, Dora, for that presentation.
No problem.
I like Dora, she's laid back, no problem. I like it.
Thanks.
Anybody? So as you're thinking of potential questions, I popped a question in there. We had some great presentations from some students in Croatia about the Plitvica River. Many of you have, waterways near your area that you might be taking measurements from. I know actually a bunch of you who are on here do. So how might you collaborate, or how might you share information with the students from Croatia, or how might they share information with you? Yes, you most likely live in a different location, but the measurements you're taking are the same. What can you compare? I know, for instance, there's some rivers that are in, the U.S. pretty close to where I live that definitely have higher nitrates and nitrites than we're seeing in some of the data that was brought there. But also, Laura talked about the tree species that are around the Plitvica River. A lot of those are, in the United States as well, and in other parts of the world. So, let's start a short conversation of how we might be able to do this. And I don't want to be the only one talking, but how might you be able to collaborate? What are some ideas that you can come up with, in some of the ways? Because as I mentioned, I'll stress it again, is you're taking the same measurement, doing the same globe protocols, but how can you then share that data? I know you can see the data on Globe. You can go into the advanced data access tool or on the visualization site of Globe and grab the data there. But when you're working with students and educators from around the world one-on-one, you can really get that data firsthand. So, I'll open the discussion for anybody who'd like to talk about that.
Well, I have 4 data sites, Brian, readily available now. I have 2 pond sites in front of Shoemate Middle School, and we take measurements there like every day or 4 times a week. And my daughter just started taking globe measurements as well, and we have sites in the Detroit River between Groseal, Michigan and Canada. And we have another one right down the street from our house in a canal. And so we'll have more data readily available. But I do have some spots now where if you wanted to do comparison data, you could steal some of the numbers that we have in Gibraltar and Groseal, Michigan. So.
Yep. Can you, Jeff? Can you identify for everybody else exactly where you're located,
All right. So Michigan looks like this, and I'm here. So can't do that in your state, buddy.
No.
But yeah, we if you look up Shoemate Middle School on the Globe data retriever. You can find 4 different spots that we just started working with. And my daughter is doing this for an honors project, which seriously, proud dad here. She's doing this for an honors project, so she's adding more measurement sites. Like I said, Detroit River and the Thoroughfare Canal, which is still part of the Detroit River. One of the things we're monitoring is everybody's heard of the Flint water crisis. It was a terrible, horrible thing just north of us, and we also have nasty algal blooms that happen in Lake Erie down in Toledo, Ohio. Just to the south of us. So we're kind of taking some data like right in the middle point to kind of keep an eye on, what's going on. The water is, the last little home stretch before it hits Lake Erie. So we have that data.
We can
Oh, you're muted again.
Can you hear us now?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, so we put our emails in the chat. So if you or Jeff or someone else wants to collaborate with us, you can contact us at these emails. We can compare data, I don't know, do a presentation, or we can decide on what project we wish to do. But if you're interested, these are our emails, so you can contact us here.
I didn't catch what grade are you guys in? How old?
I think it would be grade 12 in your terms. Like, I'm not really sure what to say. We're 18 years old.
We have.
You're 18 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 8 grades in elementary school, and then we have 4 to 5, depends on what school, grades in high school. So our educational system is not the same as in America. So basically here we're 4th grade in middle school, but that would be 12, I think the 12th grade, yeah, there in America. Basically,
Nice.
we're in, 18, 19 in this grade usually. Yeah.
Cool.
Me personally, I'm 18 and she's just about to hit 18.
Yeah.
And you're doing fantastic work. I want you to know that. So
Thank you.
Yeah, very dedicated.
We're happy to hear that.
Yeah. And congratulations on your daughter being so active in, yeah, in the GLOW program. Okay.
I'm trying to get my son involved, but he's more into games right now. So we gotta grab his behind and get him outside more.
Yeah, that's us too.
We're also both gamers.
Yeah. So yeah.
So it's really not a problem.
get good at that. You'll make a lot of money.
Yeah,
Get good with the coding.
Really good at that to make money.
Yeah.
Can I just have a question for you guys in Croatia?
Yes.
My students have some problems with putting the data into the global base and the global database, because we are with children from 13, 14 years old, and sometimes they have some problems to putting in the data into the database. How is it with you guys? Is it difficult, or do you help them? How do you do it?
Well, we when we get newcomers and we add them to our GLOW program, when they wish to join us, we just show them how to input data, but usually we don't have problems with the site itself. So I don't know how to help you, because do they know how to enter the data?
Well, I would just let them experience by the how it is in the book of the Globe and the English database site. And the English sometimes is difficult. So actually we're looking, that's also what I told to Brian, for a sort of translation. And maybe the education in Croatia is a little bit high, I don't know, but we have some problems already with the translation to put it into the database, because you have to read quite a bit English to put it on the right.
But I think there's an option there to choose the language.
Yes, but that's the Dutch database is Dutch and English at the same time, so it doesn't make sense. It's English and Dutch mixed.
So they have translation issues. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Then you should probably get a translation of the whole site. But
that's it.
So it's it's a Dutch and English translation, Alexander?
Yes, it's English Dutch. They try to translate it, but in the Dutch translation there's also some English. And of course, I can translate, but I prefer that they can do it by themselves and not that I'm always on there, because they also do it on the app, you know, on the water app outside, and then it would be much easier. I don't know how other people.
Let me bring this up to the people at Globe to try to find out, you know, how we can remedy this, because that's definitely, we don't want it to be a barrier to data input. And if it's up there and the translation isn't good, there's no point for the translation to be there if it's not good. So we have to make it. We have to get them to make it good.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I'll ping them at the Globe office this week and figure out why. You know,
yes,
why.
I always told it to my country coordinator. He should tell them also, but it takes some time. I'm doing it for about 10 years now, and I'm still working on put all the data inside. But for me, it's not really putting the data inside. For me, it's also to getting the student enthusiastic for the water outside and how to do the measurements. So the data itself is not, well, of course it's important, but it's not the main issue for me for teaching.
Who is your country coordinator again?
Matthijs.
Yeah, I know Matthijs. Yeah, okay, that's who I thought it was. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll send him a message as well. I'll CC him on that message.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Can I jump in to help? Is that cool, Brian?
Yeah.
You know, he made mention of getting the data into the computer correctly. I mean, other than the translation issue, one of the things that I do is at the very beginning of the year when we set up our sites, we take 2 students per every hour, and we make them like the experts. And, you know, we'll work with those students. We train them, take others out. So we'll work with them, you know, hardcore for like a week or 2 and show them everything that they need to do. And then after that, you know, once they can prove to us that they know how to do it, then they can start taking other students outside. And it's you know, what we call like the train the trainer method. And, you know, it works pretty good. Like you can see behind me, this is our Globe team just came in, and she's adding data to the data board right behind us. This is not choreographed. That's just dumb luck. But, you know, we really, you know, drill with those students every hour, you know, how to do it right. And we do this with 6th graders that are 11, almost 12. So, you know, that's worked out well for me. That's the only thing I can tell you as far as, you know, getting the numbers in correctly. And then behind my desk, over to the corner there, I have like an old desktop computer that I found in a closet. And what I did was I hacked on it and I made it work, hooked it up to the internet. And that's like the dedicated classroom computer. And when they're done, you know, one puts all the numbers up on the board for the day. You can see the board behind me. That's got all the data we've collected today. And then the other student is putting it in the computer, and shazam, it's off, you know, for everybody to use. So that seems to work well for me, but, you know, just want to share that out, bud. So
that's I think a good idea, because it's impossible. I have about 60 students, two classes, so it's almost impossible to teach them all the database, how to instruct them. But I think it's a good idea what you have, and I will bring it out in June when we're going to do the project again. Thank you.
Cool.
If I may jump in, sorry. Just want to say that we also have a similar process with teaching older pupils newer students that then teach other newer students. It's the same process, you know, but it also works well for us. But 60 students is a lot of students, so I get why you have problems over there. I was amazed with that number. 60.
We have, well, it's 2 classes. I'm with another teacher, and then they have groups for about 4 groups. So we have about 10 places nearby Utrecht, where we live, near Amsterdam almost, and then in our town they're going by bike to other places, and then they have to do it by themselves. So they have to put the whole data into the database. They make their own presentation. The parents are coming by. But the data stuff, I think the suggestion that you have should be, give it a try, Jeff and Maria. Thank you.
No, I'm not Maria. This is Maria. I'm teaching. Avalana.
Oh, sorry for that. Yes, okay. I just see a name over there, so that's why I'm just.
Yeah, it's her computer, so.
Okay.
And sorry for interrupting you, Jeff. If you can continue if you wish. Sorry, I just wanted to jump in and say that.
Well, I'm sorry. I got my students over here. I didn't catch what you said.
Just wanted to say sorry for interrupting you. You were wishing to say something, so yeah. Okay.
No worries. It wasn't important. So
Sorry.
no worries.
All right. Anybody else? Yes, great discussions. Yeah, I like to see how you guys are. There's lots of things. Not everything's a perfect world, so that's why one group might have problems with inputting the data, but another group, some language barriers and stuff. But what we're trying to really do here is we're trying to figure out how to collaborate. And thank you, Jeff. We saw Jeff just put his email down here for anybody who wants to contact him. So please take it down in the chat box. So I also notice here, Lynn Powers, you're still online. You notice that you might want to work with some of the Croatian students to compare the pH in the creek that your students have been researching. Are you still there, Lynn? Lynn, yep.
I am, but my internet's not that stable. Yeah, I'd like to have my kids work on that.
Great. Lynn, could you pop, if you like, could you pop your email in here that if they want to, some of the students want to contact you from Croatia, or another one on, if you like. All right, great. So you see an email there. There's Lynn's email. She was she put on the chat box that she'd love to have her students do some comparisons of the pH in their creek with some of the data that has been taken in the Flickerford River and also in Michigan as well. So yeah, it'd be great to have this large group of folks collaborating with each other. That would be awesome stuff. Lynn also mentioned, I'm just speaking for Lynn now since your internet connection is a little spotty. She said we're also looking at the pH of our snow. So that's really cool stuff. So yeah, that's an awesome thing to do. You don't see that often, so that's very cool stuff. So we're looking at the pH of snow. And Jeff, you'll probably get a lot of snow coming soon.
How do you do that? Do you just let that melt and take the pH value of that? Is that the plan?
I'm assuming that's what it is. Lynn, can you expand on that if you can pop in a second?
Yes, let it melt. Okay.
Yeah.
It wouldn't bother me one iota if we didn't get any snow pH data. I would not be upset by that. But if we have to, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah. You don't hear that happening, but that's pretty cool stuff. So you can do the pH of snow. You can get the the snow water equivalent. So you can do a lot of good stuff there with the snow melt. Yeah. Okay. I see our friend Richard Roker Ola from Puerto Rico. Richard is a teacher in Puerto Rico, and they've had lots and lots of bad things happening with all the hurricanes coming through. So I know that the internet is still pretty spotty and still spots down there without electricity. Can you hear me, Richard? Just want to make sure you're safe.
Yes, I can.
All right. Just want to make sure you're safe and sound down there.
Well, yeah, we're safe and sound. AT&T finally came through with, I think Google brought in some balloons to give us a little signal. So that's how we're finally getting back on the internet.
Wow.
Home. But at school, we don't have it at school still. So we're collecting data, and it's just compiling, ready to be entered eventually. But on the topic of water, our biggest concern is our drinking water. At one time, we didn't have it for about a month, no water at all. And now that we have it, it's a matter of how safe is it? And there's a lot of different people bringing down filters to filter the water through buckets. And what we're planning on doing is testing these. There's 3 different types we have right now. Test the quality water before and then after that goes through the different filters in terms of whatever quality, water quality we can. And So that's a big thing, because the water company, we're not sure how well they're processing the water, although it is coming through the pipes. So, I mean, we're fortunate that we have water coming in the house. So that's a big issue right now.
So once you get that data, Richard, would you be willing to present, you and your student present at a future SOTA webinar? I think this information would be absolutely amazing based upon, you know, what Puerto Rico has gone through in the last, you know, 3-4 months.
Yeah, and it's still going through. I mean, I still have students that don't have electricity at home. It's been almost 3 months now. And there are some people that don't have water or electricity.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been very challenging, but it's good that you know, people are coming together.
Yep.
Little by little here, but yeah, we definitely. It's going to be a little while before we get going on it. We're trying to make up. We were out of over a month of school.
Yeah.
And we're still in the first quarter of our semester.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, we're looking for you.
Yeah, it kind of puts a little reality check of what's important in life.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Having water to flush your toilet and bathe and brush your teeth is important. So when you hear stories about problems of water around the world, especially third world countries, it's like, yeah, we got an idea. Water's heavy.
Yeah. So yeah, so definitely keep us in mind of, you know, for, you know, like in the, you know, February, March, April timeframe. So one of those months would be absolutely amazing.
Like a plan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I have a few students who would probably be interested in doing that project and get them rolling on it here soon. But that's been in the play. Well, thank you, and it's good to hear you guys. And you know,
yeah. Stay safe down there, Richard, and you know,
will do. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, everybody definitely, Puerto Rico is in our thoughts right now because, you know, they've been going through a lot over the last 3 to 4 months. You know, devastated by hurricanes, and you know, as Richard said, you know, there's been spots there where you know, they don't even have electricity yet. So, and they're using internet because I think he said AT&T sent a balloon that would actually give them a signal. So yeah, amazing stuff. So while they get back on their feet. All right. Anybody else? We have some great collaboration ideas coming through, and that's just awesome stuff, you know, from between Holland and Croatia and the U.S. and Puerto Rico. So yeah, so amazing stuff going on right now. So does anybody else have any thoughts? Because we're running down to about, you know, we have the last few minutes before we adjourn for the day. Before we go, though, I want to say thank you so much to our presenters, to Lana and Jonathan and Dora from the two Croatian schools. I mean, amazing stuff. And it's really amazing to see, you know, I was kind of blown away by the amazingly low nitrite and nitrate numbers for the Prolifica River. So very cool to see, you know, just how clean and, I guess, cold the river is. What's the average, sorry, you might have mentioned, what's the average temperature right now of the Prolifica River where you're measuring?
Well, right now it's winter, so it's pretty cold. So around 4 degrees or a little more.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
That's in Celsius, though.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, we're still one of the U.S. is still one of the silly countries that still uses Fahrenheit. So, yeah. Okay, anybody else? And Alexander, I'll definitely ping the Globe folks and to figure out, you know, about the translation issue.
Thank you. I think I'm interested in Croatia. I think my students. I think I need somebody to spare the data, and not only in the database, but also to chat before maybe, and that the students getting more a face who they working with. So I think you guys from Croatia, it's not too far from here. You know, it should be nice maybe that I have your email already, so I can I keep in touch with you, and then maybe we can work out something, because it should be nice that there's more than only putting data into the base and compare it on the screen. Well, we can check it out maybe.
Yeah, sure. We're looking forward to it.
And always remember, you know, when you do these projects, you know, whether it's just at your school, or, you know, with your group or with a collaboration, you know, you can always enter it into the Globe International Virtual Science Symposia as well. So you can check that out on the Globe website, and we can definitely check that out. I don't have the website up right for me right now, but you can just go in there, and there's announcements about it all the time. So the Globe International Virtual Science Symposium. It's like a big, if you don't know what it is, it's a big science fair, but you submit, the research that you've done using the protocols. And if you align it to a campaign, that's even better. And, this is the ENSO student research campaign. So looking forward to seeing if anybody does that. I know several have done it last year. I believe part of ENSO, affiliated with the ENSO campaign, I think we had 7 or 8 projects that went into the International Virtual Science Symposia.
And it's a great idea. I'm just going to jump in here and say, if anyone wants someone to take a look over your project and give you some feedback, before you submit it, for being a part of our ENSO campaign here, we're more than happy to help you out with that. And it really is pretty easy, and it's so interesting to see what you're doing and compare and contrast that to what other people are doing as well. So please consider that. I put the URL for that right up there in the chat box.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Dorian. Awesome. Yep. Yeah, definitely feel free to, if you want to shoot some ideas by us, or, show us what you've done so far or what you're planning on doing. We're here to help you. We're part of the campaign. Dorian and most of the campaign folk, we don't work for Globe. We're at NASA, so we're running the campaign for Globe and NASA because NASA is a part funder of Globe, and a lot of the data and research that goes into the science that you're actually taking the protocol measurements. We have satellites up there measuring this type of stuff. So as you know, with like the Global Precipitation Measurement Mission, the Soil Moisture Active Passive Mission, CloudSat. So we have lots of satellites up there that are taking these measurements, and you guys are taking the ground-based measurements. So it's great comparisons. All right. Does anybody else have anything?
I just have one.
Sorry.
I don't have luck today.
You go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Now, I just wanted to say that this is really interesting that we in our country, in Croatia, we always try to go ahead and tell the people here that even though we have really clean water, and we're very proud to have very clean water, but we could also have even cleaner water. But it's really hard to encourage people to take even better care of the water, because since it's so clean, no one cares much. So it's interesting to see how other countries work, and what water quality do you have, and compare it, and maybe even try to collaborate in supporting people from for example, me sending some presentation or pictures from Croatia to someone to USA, so you could support the people by showing pictures of our clean water, and vice versa, and stuff like that. It's interesting to see more countries in one place rather than just our people here.
Well, if I can interrupt about that, I think I've been in Croatia, so I know the water is clear. I don't know how clear is clear, but in Holland we have a lot of nutrients, too much, I think. So the comparison between, for example, USA or Croatia should be nice, but also Holland, a lot of nutrients. So I think that should be nice for the students also to know why is it so much nutrients? What is the question about it? So I think we have a lot of investigate.
Yeah, definitely a lot of projects.
That's a neat point you raise. I know even within the states, I live in Maryland, and I'm in the Chesapeake Bay watershed, and especially as you get closer to where Brian lives, because he's also in Maryland, and he's more in kind of the countryside where a lot of people have farms, we see a huge amount of those fertilizers that get into the water. And of course, that's going to be very different from maybe what they're seeing way out in Western Maryland in their streams, where they're more reliant upon snowmelt. So I think it's a great way of getting students to understand how the water quality is affected by so many different factors. And you're right, by comparing it with other people's water quality and then looking at, well, what do you think is causing these changes? It's a great way to be learning that information.
My point exactly.
Thank you. That's what I'm looking for.
Jeff, did you have anything? I know you were wanting to pop in.
Yeah, I noticed on the Globe app with precipitation, that is no longer hounding people to solar noon for their precipitation. Is it wrong to submit your CocoRa's number, convert it, and submit that to Globe as well? So for instance, I take a CocoRa's measurement every morning for National Weather Service. I submit that to them, that's in inches. And then, I mean, what's to keep me from converting that number to millimeters and submitting that as well? I mean, is there anything wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, I don't either. No, I think you're all right. Yeah.
I think that's called wisdom.
Yeah.
2 birds with 1 stone.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then we have like 4 more rain gauges here on campus that we could convert as well. And I think that would bring the, you know, I mean, they could start working on converting inches to millimeters or whatever, but.
Hey, Jeff, Lynn asked, is the instrument calibrated?
It's the, your CocoRa's Weather Your Way 10-inch rain gauge.
Yeah,
Just the standard one you're supposed to use, that's all. Cool. I've been doing that for about 5 days. I just didn't tell you I was doing that. So cat's out the bag.
Hey,
it's all good.
Sorry, not sorry.
That's really neat you mentioned that. It's neat that we were trying to help people that had rain gauges to be able to do both. And I just saw, like you're saying, that you're right. It's not time dependent anymore. That's awesome that they chose to do that, and that does make that fusion with the CocoRa's so much easier, because you can't really do it at noon and before 9 in the morning, if in most cases. Cool.
For me, I don't know what is CocoRa's. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry for that, but explain.
It would not be pertinent in Croatia. It is something that's just in the United States and Canada. It's that you do with your cell phone, and it uses the same kind of rain gauge that we use for Globe. So it's just kind of nice when you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Both Globe and CocoRa's use the same instrumentation to collect the same data, but it used to be impossible because you had to report CocoRa's by 9 in the morning, you know, your local time. And then with the Globe, it couldn't be done other than at solar noon. So it's nice they've now changed that.
Okay.
Cool.
Right. All right, so we're running low on time, but I'm going to share one last thing first. I'm going to share my screen. And those of you who have been with our ENSO campaign for a while, you know that we are working with a group called the H2U Project. And that is basically a place where you can share water stories about your area. And let me, I'm just going to zoom out here a second, because you can see all these markers here. Let me close this one here. Oh, sorry about that. So as you can see here, these are all areas across the world where people have shared their water stories on here. And it's just the www.h2uproject.com. And what I wanted to show you here is one, it's a story that came in, sorry, I keep jumping back and forth, a story that came in from Croatia not too long ago. And this is a different part of Croatia than you folks are, different than Varazin, but this is where they were doing some hydrology globe protocols on the school's sea site. So I'm just going to read through this I won't read the whole thing, but so on the Planet Earth Day, so they did these measurements on Earth Day, April 22nd. The class went to explore our sea site to find out the quality of the seawater. And it says, as you can see from the picture, the bathing season is coming soon, and we wanted to answer, is it safe to take a bath at our site? So basically, can they go in the water at that, in that location and still be safe based upon the water quality that they took measurements? Our first step was to divide the students into groups. Each group had their own assignment. The water was transparent so they could see the bottom. So then they took some measurements here. They took measurements. They took chlorides and nitrates and nitrites and sulfates and carbonates. calcium, pH, density, oxygen, and then seawater conductivity. So they took a lot of these different measurements to figure out if they were actually able to go into the water and to be safe about it. So this is one example of some measurements that were put together to come up with what's called a water story. So we like to share these water stories because, you know, nobody really knows your story unless you tell it, right? Nobody really knows what's going on unless you show the data, or you show what the data tells you, or you share with the rest of the world. So this project, the H2U project, it's led by Laura Shetter, who's usually on our telecon. She's a teacher, so she's actually in class right now, but in Ohio. What she's done is created this H2U project so people can share their water stories from across the world. So very cool stuff. So, feel free to check that out. And, it's pretty easy to submit. If you want to submit something about the Prolific River, that'd be great. So you can just share it so the rest of the world sees it. So, I just wanted to finish with that. And if anybody else have any further questions, we've run over, but that's a good thing because we've had great discussions today, and excited to have everybody on board, and to say thank you so much again to Maria and Marina's students, Lana, Jonathan, and Dora, for presenting today about the Prolific River. We learned a lot. I've heard of the river, but I didn't know anything about it. But now I know a lot about it, which is very cool. So we can see a lot of people want to collaborate, amongst, based on this research, collaborate with you guys from all over the world. So anybody else have any parting questions, thoughts, comments?
No, thank you everyone for listening to our presentation, and I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot like Brian did.
All right, well, thank you everybody. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop record, and then once the recording processes, I will then get it online, and then I'll send a link out to everybody with that link. I'm going to pop it up on one of our YouTube channels, but I'm going to embed it in the Globe website on our campaign page, so you can take a look at it. So if there's any information that you want to look at, or if you just want to see yourself present again, you can check it out. So thank you everybody for joining in, and we'll talk to you soon. And stay tuned. There will be a SOTA webinar in January. We are working on the speakers. But also, if anybody there wants to present, one of the future SOTA webinars, January, February, March. I know Richard said he would be able to do something later on once they get situated and straight down there with the data that they're collecting with the water quality. We'll go from there. But feel free to contact some of your friends and colleagues and say, hey, we had a great webinar today. You'd be good at presenting at this webinar, and let me know. And once again, I'm going to pop my email real fast in here if you don't have it, and then let me know, or send this to your colleagues or friends, and let them know to contact me. All right, so thank you so much, everybody, and we will see you next month.